Are you looking at your life right now and things are just stressing you out? I know it happens to all of us. In this video, I'm going to show you a tip from the life of Jesus where he could look at the circumstances around him and walk in peace no matter what was happening. Hi there, I'm Lisa Berg with the Ways of Wisdom, teaching you how to hear God, get his daily guidance, and live abundantly. On this channel, we share tools and tips on how to walk through your everyday life with God. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and like and share this with your friends. You know, we all have circumstances in our lives that can just cause us stress, right? Our blood pressure rises and we get all upset about things, and then the thoughts start whirling around in our head. It happens to every single one of us. This is some of the temptation that Jesus talks about in the Bible, that the enemy will try and get us to agree with stress instead of agreeing with the truth of what heaven says. I was speaking to a client of mine this morning, and there are circumstances in life, there's a health issue that's come up that is really causing her stress. I mean, if you look at it on the surface, this is something that, you'd be worried about. And these circumstances happen to all of us, whether it's not having enough money at the end of the month, whether it's worried about your job or concerned about a relationship that you're in. There are things that can cause us to be stressed. It's the number one killer in the world, right? But as I looked at my client, I said to her, you know what? The circumstances are what they are, but there is something that you have complete control over. And this piqued her interest. And this is true for every single one of us. Because we're children of God, there is something that we have complete control over no matter what the circumstances are around us. And that is our mindset. What are we truly believing about a situation? Because if we're stressed about something and we feel all of those stresses, the high blood pressure, and we're worried and the thoughts are running around in our head, we can agree with those and it just puts us in a bad mood. It puts us in a bad mood with ourselves, everyone around us gets nipped at, circumstances, just everything then begins to look awful, right? Not just the thing that you're looking at, and the levels just build, and then you can't sleep, and then you can't eat properly, and it just builds in our lives and causes us just to have a miserable experience of everyday life. Now, while we're looking at the circumstances and doing something about it, physically trying to resolve the circumstance, as we look at our mindset that goes with it, there is an invitation to have a heavenly mindset as well. And as this heavenly mindset, as we focus on it, it is the one that says, no, this is what the word says. This is what my history with God says. This is what God has to say about this circumstance. And so therefore, even though the situation remains the same, I am going to choose to concentrate on what the Lord has to say and not on what the circumstance has to say. That is the beautiful choice that you and I have in every circumstance. So the next time you're faced with something stressful, or take a moment and pause and think about something that's really causing you stress in your life at the moment, right? The first thing we get to do is you get to acknowledge the situation. It's right there in front of you. It's a fact, right? Whatever it is that is causing this stress, it's true, right there. So often we try to go, oh, I'm just not going to think about it, or I just sweep it under the carpet. And that doesn't work because it is still there, right? So the first powerful thing to do is acknowledge the situation. The second powerful thing to do is to know that God's with you. So it's this turning from looking at the circumstance here to looking up at God here. And if it helps you to do that physical thing, it really helps sometimes to just have a physical action that you can do, right? So go, you know what, I've been looking at the circumstance here and I've been navel gazing at it right here. Let me turn and look at Jesus and see what he has to say about it. As you do that, he will bring back to your memory times when he's helped you through something. He'll bring back phrases from the Bible and verses from the Bible that can help you and tell you the truth. He'll fill you with his love and his peace as you calm yourself and focus on him instead of the problem. Something beautiful happens, my friend, when we make the decision to concentrate on the Lord and give him a space to help us. Give him a space to love on us. Give him a space to help bring us peace. He absolutely does, as we give him our willpower to do so. So as you've acknowledged the situation, and then you turn to God and realize that he's got you. He's got you. He said he'll never leave you nor forsake you. He said you are the apple of his eye. He's always with you, right? Always working things together for the good because you love him and you're called according to his purpose. the natural result of this will be that you will begin to live from that self-assured, peaceful place. Think of some of the circumstances in Jesus' life. Think about when he was on the boat in the middle of the storm with the guys, right? Everybody else is panicking. Everybody else's stress levels are super high. And Jesus wakes up completely calm. He knew who he was. He knew who his father was. He knew that his time wasn't over, that he still had things to do. And so he just peacefully stood in that place of knowing who he was, spoke to the waters and the storm, and they subsided. Right? So powerful. Jesus would look at circumstances where people were upset, like Mary and his sister when Lazarus died, right? And Mary and Martha, and how upset they were that he hadn't come soon. And he just looked at them and he began to weep. He wept, and then he said to everyone, please can you clear out? And then as he had connected with heaven, he spoke to Lazarus and he came out alive again. Think of Old Testament examples of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they were faced with being thrown into the fiery furnace. Daniel being faced with being thrown into the lion's den. You can look at those things and go, look, those are legitimately things to get stressed about, right? Can you imagine? Those are legitimately things to get stressed about. But when we stop, acknowledge God in the circumstance, let him tell us the truth, then we can live and operate and look at that circumstance from a place of knowing that God's got us. And then the way the circumstance turns out no longer has an attachment to us. You know, Jesus felt stress about going to the cross. He goes to the Garden of Gethsemane. He speaks to the Father and he says, Lord, if there's any way that this cup can pass from me, please. But nevertheless, your will be done. He was there for a while. The guys fell asleep twice, so he was there for quite a while. And at the end, he heard that this is what God needed him to do in order to bring you and me back home into the family. And so even though his circumstances didn't turn around and look good, like, oh, now I don't have to go to the cross, he was so self-assured in who he was in God and what he was being called to do, that his agreement with God gave him the strength to face the circumstance. Gave him his agreement, gave him mercy to be able to look at everyone, that the guys who spat on him, the guys that were tearing his robe, you know, when Peter cut off the guard's ear. It gave Jesus the ability to come from that strong, peaceful place and pick up the guard's ear and put it back on again. To bless the two thieves that were either side of him, to talk to those who were persecuting him in a way that wasn't angry and belligerent and mad and upset as stress tends to get us to do. This is the power of having this positive mindset from God, instead of letting ourselves get dragged down into all the pressures of stress. So I bless you that next time you're faced with a stressful circumstance, literally look at God and say, God, help. I need your help to know how to deal with this. Let him help you to change your focus from down here looking at the problem to up looking at him. Let him remind you of the truth, and then you get to operate in life according to that truth. It changes everything. It truly, truly does. So as always, Jesus is inviting you on an adventure today. Will you accept? Like and subscribe to our channel. Share this with your friends. Let's send positive, encouraging news around the world. And I will see you next time.